everyone, back again for another deep dive, and this time, you guys have sent us some pretty wild research about AI.
Yeah, definitely getting a lot of buzz.
It seems like AI might be getting a lot smarter.
Smarter than us, even.
Okay, so maybe in some ways, at least according to this research,
Right.
we're talking about a potential huge leap in AI's reasoning abilities.
Yeah, a real game changer.
Buckle up, because it's going to get pretty fascinating.
It really is.
So to kick things off, this research is hinting that AI is showing signs of something closer to AGI.
Artificial general intelligence, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, that's kind of the holy grail, right?
AGI, right. But what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, we're not just talking about AI that can ace a specific task anymore, like playing chess or something.
Right, we've seen that already.
We're talking about AI that shows signs of actually, understanding things, learning, and problem solving, kind of like we do.
Like being able to reason and figure things out on its own.
Yeah, like more general intelligence, not just specialized skills.
So how does this new research suggest that AI is getting closer to AGI?
Well, researchers at MIT have been using this thing called the ARC benchmark. And it's basically like an IQ test for machines.
I like that. An IQ test for machines.
It measures their abstract reasoning ability.
Abstract reasoning?
Yeah, like how well it can solve problems it's never seen before, without relying on just memorized answers.
So like figuring out how to, I don't know, build some crazy complicated Lego structure without the instructions?
Exactly, just by understanding the basic principles and figuring it out.
That's impressive.
And here's the kicker. AI is now actually surpassing human-level performance on this ARC benchmark.
Whoa, hold on.
That's huge.
That is huge. That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Okay, so what's driving this leap in AI's reasoning? What's changed?
Well, one key breakthrough is this training method they're calling test time training.
Test time training.
It's kind of wild. Imagine taking a test but being able to learn from your mistakes as you're taking it, so you actually get smarter with each question.
Whoa, that's trippy.
That's what this method lets AI do.
So the AI is constantly learning even as it's being evaluated.
Exactly. It's like constantly adapting and improving.
So it's not just following a fixed set of rules anymore, right? It's like actually thinking and learning.
Yeah, it suggests a kind of cognitive flexibility we haven't really seen before. It can adjust its approach based on what it's learning.
Like a self-driving car that can learn from like near misses and get better at driving in real time.
Exactly, constantly improving its performance on the fly.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about raw processing power anymore. It's like AI is learning how to learn.
Right, it's moving away from that rigid programming towards something more flexible, more human-like.
This is really cool. Okay, so this test time training is a big part of it, but I understand there's more to this AI reasoning leap than just how it's trained.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another really interesting angle to this, and that's the power of planning.
Planning.
Yeah, so there's this AI researcher, Noam Brown, who's been doing some groundbreaking work with AI and poker.
AI playing poker, I love it.
And he's found that simply giving AI more time to think before making a move can significantly improve its game.
More time to think.
Yeah, like to plan and search for solutions instead of just reacting immediately.
So it's not just about how much the AI knows, it's about how effectively it uses that knowledge.
That's it.
So what kind of results are we talking about here?
In one of his studies, Brown's poker AI actually improved its game by the equivalent of scaling the model 100,000 times just by giving it more time to plan.
100,000 times? That's insane, just by giving it more time to think.
I know, it's mind-blowing. It highlights this incredible power of planning and search and problem solving.
So sometimes it's not just about having a bigger or more complex AI model.
Sometimes it's about smarter algorithms that allow the AI to actually use what it already knows more strategically.
That's a great point. It's like the difference between having a massive library and knowing how to actually find the information you need.
Perfect analogy.
So AI is basically becoming a better researcher, not just accumulating more data.
Yeah.
But is this planning power limited to just playing poker?
No, not at all. We're seeing similar principles being applied in other really complex games like Go and Hanabi.
Where AI is also beating humans, right?
Yeah, handily.
So this points to a broader concept then, something called the generator verifier gap.
You got it.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain that.
So in a lot of tasks, it's actually much easier to verify if a solution is correct than it is to come up with the solution itself.
Okay, I think I'm following you.
Like, think about writing a poem. Anyone can read a poem and tell if it's good or not, right?
Yeah.
But actually writing a good poem, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's much harder.
AI is getting better at bridging this gap becoming more adept at not just recognizing good solutions, but actually generating them.
So AI is becoming more creative.
In a sense, yes, it's not just evaluating what's already out there, it's coming up with novel solutions on its own.
And that ability to bridge the generator-verifier gap is essential if AI is going to tackle really complex real-world problems.
Absolutely. Problems where the answers aren't always clear-cut.
This is all really fascinating stuff. So we're seeing that AI is not only learning more efficiently, but also developing smarter strategies and becoming more creative in its problem solving.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But what about those AI systems we hear so much about, the ones that can like hold conversations and write poetry? Are these advancements applying to them too?
That's a great question, and it brings us to the world of large language models, or LLMs.
Ah, yes, the
The
LLM.
chatbots and text generators that seem so human-like.
Right, everyone's talking about them.
But while LLMs are amazing at mimicking human language, they still lack some key cognitive abilities that we kind of take for granted.
So they can write a sonnet, but they can't plan a cross-country road trip.
Something like that, yeah.
So what exactly are these missing cognitive abilities?
Well, for one, they haven't quite mastered episodic memory, like how you can easily recall specific events, conversations, feelings from your past.
They can't hold a grudge.
Haha, not quite.
Okay, but besides not holding grudges, what else are LLMs missing?
Another big one is what psychologists call system two, thinking, that deliberate analytical part of our thinking, like carefully weighing pros and cons, considering different perspectives before making a decision.
Like really thinking things through.
Right. LLMs rely more on system one, thinking those quick, intuitive responses based on patterns they've seen in the data.
So basically, LLMs are incredible mimics, but they don't really think the same way we do.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's where the connection to Noam Brown's work becomes really interesting. Remember how giving the poker AI more time to think led to those massive improvements?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, some researchers believe we could apply the same principle to LLMs.
It's called scaling inference compute, giving them more time and resources to process information and make decisions.
So instead of just making them bigger and stuffing them with more data, we give them a chance to actually think with that data.
Exactly. And if we can crack the code of scaling inference compute for LLMs, who knows what they'll be capable of?
Now you're getting me excited. What kind of things are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Imagine AI that can come up with groundbreaking scientific discoveries, or develop life-saving drugs, or even compose music that would make Beethoven jealous.
Okay, now you're just showing off. But seriously, the possibilities are incredible. So it seems like the key to unlocking the true potential of AI might lie in giving it more time and resources to think, not just more data to absorb.
That's what the research suggests.
This has been an amazing start to our deep dive.
We're just getting started.
But before we get carried away with AI becoming our robot overlords, are there any limitations we should be thinking about?
Oh, definitely. There are always challenges and limitations to consider, and we'll get into those right after a quick break.
All right, sounds good. Let's take a moment to refresh and come back to dig deeper into the challenges of this AI reasoning leap. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about some potential limitations of AI, even with all these advancements in reasoning.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to get swept up in all the exciting possibilities,
Right.
but we need to balance that with a realistic look at the challenges too.
Exactly. One thing that comes to mind is the issue of bias.
Oh, right. I've heard about that. How can bias become a problem with AI?
Well, you see, AI systems learn from the data they're trained on, right? And if that data reflects existing biases in the real world, well, the AI can end up perpetuating those biases.
So like if an AI is trained on historical hiring data, that shows a preference for male candidates,
It might unintentionally learn to favor male candidates in its own decisions.
and that could lead to some real problems, right?
Exactly. It's like reinforcing existing inequalities in areas like hiring, lending, even criminal justice.
So addressing this bias in AI really comes down to the data used for training.
In a big way, yeah, researchers are working on a bunch of different approaches to try to mitigate this issue.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, they're developing ways to actually detect and correct bias in data sets.
So cleaning up the data before it's even fed to the AI.
Yeah, and they're also working on creating more transparent AI systems
Transparent, how
so that we can understand how the AI is making its decisions, make it easier to spot and address any potential biases.
so accountability is a big part of it.
Definitely, the more we understand how these AI systems work, the better we can control them.
Makes sense. It's like any tool, right? It can be used for good or for bad.
Exactly like fire. You can use it to cook food or burn down a forest.
So it all comes down to how we choose to use it,
And that's why these conversations are so important.
to understand both the benefits and the risks.
And to think critically about how we want AI to shape our future.
Speaking of benefits, let's talk about some specific ways this reasoning leap in AI could actually impact our lives.
All
You
right.
ready for another round of mind-blowing possibilities?
Okay, well, let's start with scientific research. Imagine AI that can sift through massive amounts of data, identify patterns we might miss, and come up with hypotheses that could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, physics, climate science, you name it.
So it's like having an army of super intelligent scientists working around the clock.
Pretty much, it could revolutionize the pace of scientific discovery.
That's exciting. And it's not just about crunching numbers, right? AI could actually help design experiments, test theories more efficiently.
Even come up with completely new research questions we haven't even thought of.
Wow. So it's not just speeding up the process, it's expanding the possibilities.
Exactly. And this potential extends way beyond science. Think about problem solving and engineering, urban planning, even art and design.
Okay, so we're talking self-healing bridges, cities that run on renewable energy, AI-composed symphonies.
You got it. AI could help us optimize resource allocation, predict and prevent disasters, create more sustainable systems across the board.
And let's not forget about the business world either. AI could transform everything from marketing to financial forecasting.
For sure, AI could help businesses make smarter decisions, personalize customer experiences, develop innovative products and services.
It really sounds like AI could revolutionize countless industries, creating both opportunities and challenges.
Absolutely. And one of those challenges we need to think about is job displacement,
Right, as AI gets more sophisticated, it's bound to automate some jobs.
which could have ripple effects throughout the economy.
It's a valid concern, but historically, hasn't technology always created new jobs, even as it displaced old ones?
You're right. It's a pattern we've seen time and again.
So maybe the key is to adapt and evolve with the changing landscape.
Exactly. We need to focus on equipping people with the skills they need for the jobs of the future.
Skills that are uniquely human right, like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence.
Those are the skills that will be in high demand.
So it's less about competing with AI and more about collaborating with it.
Working together using AI to enhance our own abilities.
Finding that sweet spot where human intelligence and artificial intelligence complement each other.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance, leveraging AI to augment our own capabilities and solve problems we couldn't tackle alone.
This has been a really thought-provoking discussion. We've covered so much ground, from the technical breakthroughs to the ethical concerns and the potential impact on society.
We've barely scratched the surface.
And on that note, I think we need to take a quick break to process all this information and get ready to dive even deeper into this AI revolution.
Ah.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm still thinking about AI in healthcare, like personalized medicine and preventing diseases before they even happen. That's just wild.
Yeah, there's so much potential there.
It really is. But are there any other areas where this reasoning leap in AI could really shake things up?
Well, one area that comes to mind is education.
Education.
Yeah, imagine a world where every student has access to an AI tutor. One that provides personalized instruction tailored to their specific learning style and pace.
So instead of those one-size-fits-all textbooks and lectures.
Exactly. Every student gets a customized learning journey.
That sounds incredibly effective, but how would that actually work?
Well, the AI could analyze the students' strengths and weaknesses, their learning preferences, and then create a dynamic curriculum that adapts in real time.
Whoa, so it's like constantly adjusting to the student's progress.
Exactly. Providing targeted exercises, giving feedback, even adjusting the difficulty level as needed.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal tutor who knows exactly how to challenge and motivate each student. But could AI really replace human teachers altogether?
That's a tough question. While AI can definitely enhance the learning experience, I think human teachers will always play a vital role.
In what way?
Well, they provide mentorship, emotional support, and that human connection,
Yeah.
the ability to inspire students in a way that AI just can't replicate, at least not yet.
That makes sense. It's about finding the right balance then, right? Leveraging AI to enhance education, but not trying to replace the human element.
Exactly. It's about creating a collaborative environment where AI and human teachers work together to empower students.
I love that this all sounds incredibly promising, but with any new technology, there are always potential downsides. What are some challenges we should be thinking about when it comes to AI in education?
Well, one concern is bias. If the algorithms are trained on biased data, they could end up perpetuating those biases in the educational system.
So just like we talked about with AI in hiring,
Mm.
We need to make sure these systems are fair and equitable.
Absolutely. And transparency is key. We need to understand how these AI systems are making decisions to make sure they're not discriminating against certain groups of students.
And it seems like it would be crucial to involve educators and experts from different fields in the development of these AI systems.
For sure, it needs to be a collaborative effort, bringing together educators, AI experts, ethicists, policymakers to ensure that AI in education is used responsibly and ethically.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation.
Mhm.
It's clear that AI has the potential to revolutionize education, but we need to proceed thoughtfully and with commitment to fairness and equity.
Couldn't agree more. And it's not just education that will be affected. As we've been discussing, AI is poised to impact pretty much every aspect of our lives.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
It is. So as we move into this uncharted territory, what are some key questions we should be asking ourselves?
Oh.
Well, for one, how do we ensure that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few?
That's a big one.
We need to think about the economic implications, the potential for job displacement, and how to create opportunities for everyone to thrive in this new world.
So it's not just about developing the technology, it's about anticipating the social and economic impacts.
Exactly. We also need to be thinking about the ethical implications. As these AI systems become more powerful, we need to establish guidelines for their use to make sure they align with our values.
And make sure they don't pose a threat to our well-being.
Right. The future of AI is something we're actively shaping with every choice we make.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
I've really enjoyed exploring these topics with you.
We've covered so much ground, from those groundbreaking advancements in AI's reasoning abilities to the ethical challenges and the potential impact on society.
And to our listeners, we hope this has sparked your own curiosity about the future of AI.
It's a future that's full of possibilities and challenges.
But ultimately, I believe the future of AI depends on us approaching it with a sense of both wonder and responsibility.
Embracing the potential while being mindful of the risks.
Exactly, because the future of AI is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create together.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the world of AI.